environmentally equivalent or environmentally improvement? In other words, is this merely substituting X for Y?
It depends what we get for the output. Are you talking about fuel molecules specifically? I mean, right now the targets are to use current internal combustion engine technology, so they have to be pretty close. But to go from CO2 to plant to sugar to fuel to CO2 to plant to sugar is better than going from carbon in the ground to CO2 in the air. I mean, it neutralizes the impact of pumping stuff out of the ground and putting it into the air. And some of the switchgrass and things like that seem to be carbon neutral or carbon negative, where it actually sequesters some carbon into the root mass. So there might be some potential to pull some of the stuff back out of the air as well. It's all long term. That's a long term buildup. It'll be a long term solution.
Presumably dependent on some other political decisions.
Yeah, I can't even speak to that. What I can do with my life is take what I've learned in the last 15 years and try to provide some decent candidates for fuels that come out of these systems. Whether people choose to use these systems, it's not, I mean, that's so far beyond me, I can't stand to think about it.
I bet you do, but we won't put you on the spot.
Yeah.
One last question from my end. Most labor is alienated. People work at jobs that are meaningless, and they work at jobs so they can do other things, buy other things, or have some time off or whatever. Science is supposed to be different than that. The fact that you're willing to mentor these kids, is that also a sense that you've explored lots of different paths in life, and that you find this a gratifying thing to do with your life?
Yeah, I think this is very satisfying, and I mean, I don't necessarily want to pull kids into science. It's just what I have to offer. I just want to pull them into college. If they go off and I mean, study human practices or something absurd, that's up to them, as long as they find it fulfilling.
I was going to be a scientist till I got to college too, and then
Yeah. I mean, the mentoring thing. This is what I have to offer. I don't have anything else.
But that's human practices, right?
If you say so. What do I know from human practices?
I know. So,
Yeah.
No,
I thought that was just phase 3 clinical trials until you came along.
Yep.
Human practices.
There's more to come. But in any case, it's admirable. It's very good what you do.
No, thank you.
No, I shouldn't even be here. So.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you this question. So we have these 3 questions that are kind of very important for this web project. And I understand it's going to be hard for me to explain it well enough for you to really understand it, but I'm going to try to.
Okay.
Number 1 is, what does it mean to flourish, as in to have a good life? Do you think?
You are so asking the wrong guy.
Well, we actually just addressed that, and that's what I
That
was getting
fulfillment.
into. Is this a life worth leading? Is this something you want other people to do, or would you encourage people to do this? Does it seem like it's valuable work? Does it give you the opportunity to?
Well, I mean, I think it's valuable and I think it's rewarding, but that's all personal context. I can't tell you what's going to be rewarding to you. So to say what is it to flourish? I mean, that's in the eye of the beholder.
Well, I mean, again, and I'll just guess for you, there's a difference between working in Jack in the Box or McDonald's and working here. It's not that there aren't repetitive tasks here as well,
Yeah.
but there's something else also. And so there's some sense of judgment about more people ought to have the possibility of extending their capacities in life, regardless of which neighborhood they were born into, and that sort of thing.
But extending those capacities doesn't mean this. I mean, it's just
No, but this is one thing of probably, this is one of probably a very large number of things people could do with their lives, but it's one of them.
right. It's only one. Yeah.
Well, but that's not enough at all.
No, I agree, but it's a drop in the ocean. That's
Maybe the ocean's dying.
yeah. There'll still be plenty of drops there. There just won't be anything in them.
That's true. Okay.
Um, whose business is ethics, do you think?
Everybody's.
Everybody?
Yeah.
Within this context?
Within every context. I mean, if we're going to live as a society, we have some base rules and people should follow them. I mean, it's not that tough. Is that enough? I mean, it's not a complicated question.
No, it's
That's
not.
You'd be surprised how many people don't answer it that way, though.
I might be disappointed. I'm afraid I probably wouldn't be surprised.
No, I think it's that you've thought about it, and a lot of other people haven't. Thought about it because you're the kind of guy who has had to ask questions about things. I'm filling in this.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I'm teaching her
Do you
as
want the
well.
mic?
And the last question is, you know, not only synthetic biology, but this bioengineering stuff. It's this idea of designing life or manipulating life. Do you think there are limits to what can be designed or manipulated?
Well, there's certainly limits to what living things can do. I mean, what are you getting after? I mean, what should be done? What can be done? There's certainly limits on what can be done. There's certainly limits on what should be done. They're obviously not the same limits. I mean, there are things in the field of bioengineering that should probably have tighter regulations than they do. And there's still the potential for doing things that are going to make this world a better place are huge, are enormous. I mean, far outweigh the potential downside. Well, I won't say far outweigh the potential downside. If somebody who's really intent on doing terrible things with bioengineering, they could probably do it, but there are shorter paths to doing terrible things. It's not really an efficient tool for doing terroristic types of work. I mean, people talk about that. And certainly nation states, if they're looking to expand their borders, don't want to use bioweapons, which is what people think of when they think of engineering. They think about engineering pathogens. I mean, it's not a logical thing to do if you're looking to expand your borders and increase your territory. If you want to take over the U.S. and you contaminate every surface with some sort of pathogen, I mean, you're kind of screwed. That and that pathogen gets on a plane and comes back to you, you know, you're screwed at home too. It's not. People are can get up in arms about what comes out of bioengineering, and there are some more immediate potential downsides that I probably won't go into, but the upsides are all far outweigh that stuff. I mean, the potential to do green chemistry and to make pharmaceuticals in a bug instead of like this